Well, here's a video I've never done before. Today I'm going to show you 2 completed container looks back to back in the same container. And I'll tell you why I'm doing it too. So last week I got a shipment of plants from Southern Living Plant Collection, and these were just the most gorgeous looking plants. And I just immediately wanted to start doing something with them, so I made this container. I love how this container turned out. To be clear, this combination is like chef's kiss. I'm not going to keep it though. But let's start by talking about what's here first, and then I'll talk to you about what's happening with this. So the backdrop of this are these beautiful Lamandrum Platinum Beauties. These Lamandras are a grass. Now these are obviously not hardy in my area. They are hardy, I think maybe zone 8, and they are just a stunning, stunning plant. In front of that, I've got 3 Everwhite Agapanthus. I never get to play with Agapanthus. I mean, what a treat it is to be able to like do something fun with Agapanthus, because obviously, again, not hardy here. These Everwhites are shorter growing and quite beautiful. And what I did was I clustered them tightly up in front. Then between the 3 Platinum Beauties, I tucked in a couple of new plants from Proven Winners for next year. So not in garden centers this year. I got a trio of sample plants of this to try out this year. And this is Salvia, and this is Outshine Orchid. They also have a red red color in this too as well. And the stats on this say 12 to 24 inches tall, and spacing is 12 to 18 tall. So I think you can see how that'll fill that in nicely. Okay, in the front, this is a combination. I will use it next year. Centerpiece is this beautiful Nemesia A Romance, which is their Nemesia collection, Plum Honey. I am just in love with this. To be honest with you, I've not done a lot with Nemesias in the past because they've not been good for performers for me. They just poop out when it gets hot. And if they poop out when it gets hot for me, which is not very hot, they probably poop out in a lot of places. But apparently these are a highly improved Nemesia. And this variety of colors is just, I cannot get over how much I love it. Then I pulled out the plum portion of that with a mahogany sweet potato vine, Sweet Caroline, Sweetheart Mahogany, I believe, sweet potato vine, which has definitely a plum color versus a black or purpley color. Then I put in a little bit of Cool Jazz Supertunia, and you wouldn't think it would work until you look closely at the Nemesia and the edges of especially the whiter petals, and on the back side of that, it is the exact color of that Cool Jazz Supertunia. So that color is repeated, and it's also really similar to the color of the Outshine Orchid. It works in that too. So added that in, and then just a couple of, I think this is Whirlwind White Scaevolas in the front, just to get us a little bit of trailing. All right, so we've established it's beautiful. I'm going to take a photo of it to remember why, because it needs to go. And here's why. Last year and the year before that, I've actually talked about this in videos, about how a lot of times, because I love container designing so much and I love to play around with so many different things, a lot of times I end up with this situation where I've got kind of a central focus of containers here on the front of our house. So there's this one, then the window box, then the big box by the front door where I usually put a banana, and then we can also probably count the urn in the center of the garden as well. And these are all within 15 feet of each other, from one to the next. And what you end up with is like less of an impact, because what I've been doing is not planting them with any sort of theme. I've just been planting them as individual standalone containers. And last year I told myself and you, by the way, that I was not going to do that again. I was going to stop pretending like these existed in a vacuum. Because I love this container that much, if there was any way to sort of fudge this rule that I created for myself so I could totally break anyway, I would, except for the fact that the color scheme that is happening in the rest of these containers is completely the opposite of this. In the rest of the containers, we're going to be doing warm, bright colors. And this is cool, not bright colors. And to the point where this will actually clash. So let me show you. This Silenia apricot begonia is one of the plants that's going to go in the next version of this. And like, to me, this with this cool jazz petunia, ugh. So this unfortunately has to go. Now all these plants are going to find new homes together, actually. Well, not the mahogany probably, but these other three are gonna, and I don't know, I haven't decided yet if the scawola is staying or not, but these other ones are going to find a new home. The lamandra and the agapanthus are gonna stay. So those stay. We're gonna change out the color aspect of this to be more in line with what's gonna happen in the rest of the containers. Look at that bucket full of beauty right there. Now there's a certain amount of making this up as I go along here, but I do have an idea of some of the plants that are gonna go in here. So bear with me a little bit. There might be a little bit in and out here. Okay, so that was plain blue salvia that I put in the back there. I always love a blue and white combo. So I'm still working on this, and by the way, this is Stardiva white. Now I said whirlwind white, it's Stardiva white. I'm debating whether I should put in Stardiva blue instead. Or what is this? Is this blue or purple? What do they call this? Stardiva blue instead. No, we're keeping the white. I like the white reference from the back to the front. Okay, let's just talk about a couple of the plants that are going in here. First of all, Silenia apricot. This can handle full sun. It's a begonia. The only reason why it's going in front here is because it can handle full sun. Most begonias, a lot of begonias, I should say, can't. These are the same plant, which I guess when you put them together, you can kind of tell. This is Superbell's Magic Double Grapefruit. I grew this last year and loved it. This is a bit of a color changer, which I guess is the magic part. But last year, the color that it showed for me was mostly sort of ended up being corals, sort of deeper versions of this. These have been growing in a slightly shadier spot, which I think explains why we're seeing as much pink in this as we are. So that's also going in, and then we're gonna tuck in a few more. So basically, this is taking the place of the plum honey nemesia, and this is taking the place of the cool jazz supertunia. This is a bit of a tight squeeze. So I actually got to flatten the root ball a little bit to fit it in here in front of the agapanthus. Okay, last I want to add in a little bit of a trailer. This plant is so fragile, the stems are so fragile that it looks beautiful in the tray, and then you try to pull them apart and they all just break. You can see like this one broke off. This is Amethyst Falls Ornamental Oregano, and this is what it will do. These are the flowers on the bottom, although they'll get much bigger than this. Unfortunately, so much of it breaks off. So they will regrow. We've got good growth from the beginning here, so they'll get bigger. It's just that I've lost so much of the pretty bits already there. Here's another one that I pulled out, and you can just tell, I mean, they look so pathetic when you pull them out. Anyway, I guess I should have separated the tray a long time ago, but we're gonna put these guys in here. I mean, I see two obvious holes here and here. I didn't really say much about this container, but this is a teak trough from Country Casual Teak. And what's nice about it is that the whole thing has a plastic liner in it. So nothing ever touches the teak, meaning it should last for a long time. Oh, see, I would have room for one there too. Maybe it should be there instead. We're gonna move that other one over. It should be there instead. Okay, I'll scooch. We'll just scooch this one over to this spot here. I need some, am I gonna, believe it or not, I might have to top up the soil in here a little bit. I don't know how I lost so much soil just swapping out a few plants. Okay, there. I left the mahogany Sweetheart in there. I left the Star Diva white in there to reference the other white. And then we just changed everything out for this sort of brighter corally-ish color scheme. It doesn't read that way now because the magic grapefruit is looking more like a pink grapefruit right now than a grapefruit. Okay, same pot, two ways. Let me know which one you like better. I know which one I like better, and it's not this one. But I think I will be happy that I made this switch as containers grow in summer and there's a cohesive look on this deck, because that other look wasn't just not cohesive, it was like completely opposite. So now I know something I can do in the future, a combination I can do in the future. And like I said, I'm gonna go take those plants right now, transplant them to their next home, where they're all gonna grow together over there. And I'll enjoy them over there for this year, and then I've made a mental note about what maybe I want to plant next year. All right, thank you for watching, you guys. If you like this video, like and subscribe. I don't say that very often, but you know, like and subscribe, it helps. And weigh in on what we did over here. Have a great day in your garden. Bye-bye.